Hello and welcome to Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm so glad that you're here. So I did a little bit of thinking yesterday, did a little bit of feeling, and I noticed just how much I've been overstimulated. There's been a lot going on. I've been feeling a lot. And at some point, it just reached too much. It was a lot. And so I had to take it a little bit easier. Yesterday, I took it easy with a short episode. Today, I made sure to give myself some time just laying in bed, listening to music, not requiring myself to do anything else. During a call earlier today, we got onto the topic of honesty and how, for many of us, honesty's the next step in getting what we want. Maybe that's honest with yourself, honest with your friends and family, honest with potential partners or love interests. And honesty can look like many different things. Honesty can be not lying, telling the truth, but honesty can also be not hiding the truth. Sometimes we don't say everything. We hold back a little bit. And because of that, we're not being completely honest with who we are or how we feel. We're not saying anything that's a lie or it's not true. It's just not the whole story. It's not the whole picture. So then when the people that we talk to think about us, they think about us in this fractured light, in this way that isn't completely us. And when we're viewed that way, we all know what that feels like. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel vulnerable. But they have no way of knowing. They have no way of knowing otherwise what the truth is. The only way that they can know, that they can find out, is if we tell them or we show them, with the key being not hiding and practicing honesty, practicing this type of vulnerability. It's a skill like most other things. It's not a personality trait you're born with. It's not set in stone. It's something that could be learned and practiced. It's something that needs to be learned and practiced. And our thoughts and actions, they're all based on the questions that we ask ourselves and we answer. So the new question in mind to start practicing this skill is whenever you're with another person, at least once during the conversation, the interaction, ask, how can I be honest right now? Or what can I be honest about right now? Maybe that's honest about the way you feel. Maybe that's honest about something you just thought of that might be a little bit embarrassing. Maybe it's being honest about a fear that you have that's been holding you back. And it's time for me to be honest. Just got a sign from my team up above that I'm holding back. I'm not being honest. Yesterday, I was afraid to be honest about what's bothering me, or one of the many things that are on my mind right now. I don't know quite how I want to say this, other than just being blunt with it, which might actually be a little bit ironic. Earlier yesterday morning, I came to a conclusion that there's a strong chance that I have autism. It makes me really nervous to even bring it up or talk about it for a few different reasons. So also why I'm struggling to look into the camera. I guess one of the things that make me nervous is that I haven't done enough research, I feel like, into it. I don't even know how to properly address it or talk about it. I don't know if I'm offending someone by making this claim or making the claim using the language that I'm using. Is autism something to have, something to experience? Is it offensive to say something like autistic? Or is that actually how you're supposed to say it? There's so many of these things that I don't know, but I know that talking about it is something I really need to do right now. I guess another part of me is also worried because admittedly right now, it's just self-diagnosed. I've had a feeling for quite a while now, but it's never been anything too strong or too pressing to actually look into it further until curiosity got me 2 nights ago. Yesterday morning, I ended up taking a number of self-assessments. It obviously started out with 1 or 2. I think I stopped at 7. 6 of the 7 said there's a strong probability of autism, and the 7th said I was borderline, where a score of 26 or higher was a strong indication of autism, and I had a 25 or something. I guess because it's a self-diagnosis, I worry this is one of those, some guy WebMDs himself, or he just took a bunch of quizzes online. What does he really know? And so what taking those tests has done for me is it's moved a needle forward where I at least want to get further information. I want to get an official assessment so that I will know if it's official or not. And I don't quite know why that part's important to me. I think it's just a peace of mind kind of thing, where if it's official, I feel more comfortable talking about it. I've had a history of finding things that I thought I had and attributing myself to whatever behaviors or symptoms are part of that thing. And so I guess I'm hesitant for that reason too, that I don't want this to be just that next thing and then it's not. and I have to backtrack. And that being said, the evidence is just stacking up. And there's a part of me that's actually really happy because I love learning and I love growing and I love knowing more about myself because I want to help more people like me. The more I know about me, the more I know about the people I want to help. And when I first found out, I was actually super joyful. I was laughing because it felt like I've unlocked something, that there's a truth that I found out after all these years that just connects and explains so many things in my life, so many behaviors, so many parts of me that I would often wonder, laying in bed, is anyone else like this? Do other people think like this? Is this normal? And so I guess not everything I do is normal, and I've known that for a while. But I also know that most of what I do isn't one of a kind. There's others out there that are like me. And for as long as I can remember, I've been looking for people who are like me. My group, my tribe, my family. So when I find out something like this, I guess I hold out hope because maybe that's one step further, one step closer to finding the people that I want to find and I'm meant to find. I guess the reason that I'm not extremely overjoyed right now is because it is a lot to handle, a lot to consider, not in terms of present day impact and ramifications, but more so past and future. When it comes to the past, discovering something like this can really shake up your foundation. It shook up my foundation because we all have stories about our past. We all have stories about every memory we have, every lesson we've learned, every experience we've experienced. We give it some meaning, we give it some focus, we use some language, and we feel some emotion every single time we let a memory either surface or we download one into our mind. When something like this comes up, it has the ability to fundamentally change the foundation of so many stories. I think I've been so overstimulated recently because I've been going through different memories in my mind, not really in an order, but just any memory pops up into my mind and I notice some behavior, some action where I go, oh, maybe that's why I did that. Oh, maybe the autism did that. If that's how it works, I don't know. Maybe autism is just a classification of behaviors, just putting them all into one group. That's where the research comes in. I did the same thing with depression. When I found out I was depressed, I spent weeks reading article after article and guide after guide of what is depression, why does depression happen, where does it come from, what shows up when someone's depressed, how can you help someone who's depressed, what tools do you need for depression. I spent about 1.5 years in therapy for it too. I did so much of this information gathering and putting things into practice into my life that I became very comfortable about the topic of depression. This is just that next topic, which, as a surprise, yet not a surprise to me, I find out that there is a correlation between autism and depression, anxiety, obviously, social anxiety, and even ADHD. My little brother has ADHD, so I always thought I had it. But then when I got a self-assessment for it, there's a couple things that were off, and it made me wonder how and why and what. Anywho, I do feel a bit better just talking about it. I do feel better putting it into words and putting it out there. I'm just trusting that for anyone listening, for anyone here, if there even is that many people that reach this point, I trust that there will be a level of compassion, a level of empathy, a level of understanding, and maybe as far as to say a level of support. This is where I'm at now. This is what I'm feeling. In that call I mentioned before, we agreed on setting a goal for the next 2 weeks. And rather than setting a clear goal in terms of some actionable item, we each decided on a topic of question to ask ourselves. At least that's what it seems like now. For them, it was on the topic of honesty and being honest with a person in their life. And if they're feeling brave and they have momentum, to practice more of that honesty with more people in their life. For myself, I needed help and I asked for a question that I can ask. And the question that I got that felt really fitting to hear and answer was, what is it that I need? What is it that I really need? Or any variation of that question. What is it that I really need right now? And as soon as I asked that question, I knew the answer was to talk about it. What I'm feeling now is something close to confusion, and maybe even a little bit of worry for the change that might be coming. I talked about the past and the present part of learning this information. And I guess the future is all about learning to make the most of it, learning what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, how I could capitalize on my strengths and minimize my weaknesses. This has the possibility of maybe not so much changing the behaviors or the decisions I make, but feeling less bad about them. There's many times in my life where I make a decision and I wonder, why did I choose that? Why did I go in that direction? Why did I think what I thought right there? Maybe it's just easier to say, oh, that's why. Autism. Maybe I'll have a clear understanding as I learn more about what it is, how it works. Maybe I could explain it a little further, or maybe I don't have to. Maybe just saying that is enough, at least for other people. Because for myself, I know it's enough. I know it's enough to just say something like that and be much more accepting of myself. And I know that the more accepting I am of myself, the more accepting I am of all people in my life. And it feels really good to accept others and love them for who they are. So as I learn more about this, and I take these assessments and share what I learn, I really don't know what direction all of this is going to go in. Maybe I'm going to embrace some of the quirks that I have. Like I said, use them to my advantage. Maybe I'm going to meet people that have been waiting a long time to meet me without them even knowing. Or maybe nothing's going to change. We both know that's not true. Everything is going to change. It always does. But until then, I thank you for listening, and I thank you for being here. I am feeling much better than I was at the beginning of this episode, and I think as the days go on, I will return to normalcy. It'll feel good. I think today I just need some family time, and that's what I'm going to get. I hope you have a very pleasant rest of your day. I hope you sleep well, wake up rested tomorrow, and you enjoy everything that life has to offer. Until then, just remember to fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.